All right, so for today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the Knipex 903101 TubiX Pipe Cutter. Now, I believe this guy comes in at roughly 3 inches in size. This is one of 3 different pipe cutters that Knipex has to offer. This is the compact version. I did previously review the middle version of the two, which I believe is a 7-inch pair, or at least a 7-inch size cutter. And they also offer a 10-inch version of the pipe cutter, which I believe cuts up over 2 inches in size for a pipe. Now, this is the compact version of their line, and it is in the traditional Knipex colors, where the majority of the tool is red, followed by the spinning part or the little handle on the back, which is in blue. Now, you do have a scale here on the side, which is going to tell you all the different sizes. I believe this is in millimeters on this side. Now, this tool will go from 1/8 inch copper all the way up to 1 1/8. Now, typically with these smaller compact pipe cutters, for soft copper, at least for 1 1/8, you're going to have one heck of a time using these on the soft copper. Hard copper, not so much, but the soft copper, you got all the bends and stuff because it generally comes in a giant roll that you kind of have to try and maneuver the tool around. And I found that with the compact version of the pipe cutters, you do tend to struggle more than just, a standard larger version of a pipe cutter. But that just could be me. So here is the pipe cutter. Coming over this side, you have your fractional side, which will indicate what size pipe you are going to be cutting. You have the Knipex name, and you also have the model number. And this is it's more like a locking pin that has a little bit of a ball bearing on there that kind of locks the cutter in. It's a little bit different than some of the other versions out there. Like the rigid ones have that locking clip on the back. This guy just has a little, you can see it right there. It just has a little ball bearing that locks it in. Now, I do find that a little bit challenging to operate or to use, just because every time you want to go in and out to change out the blade, it's going to get stuck on both sides to try and push it through, and can be a little bit challenging. But you do have 2 rollers there. That's your piece of pipe or your copper or whatever you're cutting with this can roll on while you are cutting it. And you have the nice cutting knives. Now, this is, instead of having to twist it either open or close, this has a quick adjust on it, so it allows you to slide the tool into any size position that you need, or you can have it opened and you can push it in and close it into the size that you need to cut whatever pipe you are cutting. Which is definitely a nice feature. Now, the back of the handle, you do have a spare blade, which is nice. A lot of pipe cutters come with a spare blade, typically in the handle, but when you get down to some of the really small compact ones, they don't have an extra blade. But generally, with these larger compact ones and some of the other larger pipe cutters out there, you do tend to get a extra blade in the handle, which is nice in case you ever end up damaging, chipping, losing one of the blades. You always have a backup in the handle, which is a nice feature. So that is pretty much it for the detail on the tool and kind of some of the functionality of the tool. Now we'll go ahead and zoom the camera out, and we'll bring in a piece of copper, and we'll go ahead and test this guy out. So we'll move it into place, and we'll go ahead and tighten it down on there, and we'll go ahead and make our first couple of passes. I got to tighten it down just a little bit more, but you can see on the copper there is a line starting to show where the blade is cutting. And generally, every rotation I make, I do tighten it about a quarter turn. Some people like to go half a rotation and tighten it. I just like to go every rotation. I'll tighten it just a quarter turn until you are cut through the pipe, or sometimes I'll spin it just an extra turn or two, just in case you over tightened it. You can allow that blade to dig into that copper. And it's pretty self-explanatory how this tool works. It's just, as a pipe cutter, you tighten it down and it'll eventually cut the piece of pipe off. So we'll go ahead and spin him around some more and tighten it up, and we should have somewhat of a clean cut once it's all said and done. So we'll go ahead and tighten it up some more, and we should be almost through this piece of copper, and we are indeed. So there you go. That's pretty much how this tool works. It's overall definitely it's a nice little addition from Knipex. a part of their offering. Now, I don't think Knipex actually makes these themselves. These are made in Spain, so that kind of leads me to believe that a company in Spain mainly produces these, and then Knipex comes in and rebrands them as theirs, puts their name on it, so that way, instead of it only being sold to a smaller market, they can push it to a lot larger of a market and sell a lot more of these. So I believe in the first pipe cutter review, I said they were made in Germany, but I was wrong. I did go and look on the Knipex website, and it turns out that these are made in Spain. So like I said, not 100% sure if Knipex will warranty them or not, or I believe they will warranty them, but they don't make them. I don't believe that they make them themselves. And now one thing I did say earlier in the video was I did find this mechanism for taking the blade in and out a little bit tricky to use. That's the one thing I don't like about this tool, is that little ball bearing gets stuck up on not only the first hole that you have to insert, but also trying to get it into the back hole. And then another thing I don't like about this tool is it has this little ball bearing that rides in the center of the cutting wheel, which is kind of like, I guess you could say it's kind of like proprietary for this tool. I'm not really sure what it's for. Generally, on these little small pipe cutters, and some of the larger ones, you don't really have a ball bearing. Just your locking pin kind of just goes through the cutter, and you're good to go. So I'm not sure why they decided to go with a design like that. But I do find, like I've said, I do find it a little bit challenging to kind of get this guy to lock into place. Could just be me. But it is definitely a little bit tricky to get that piece to lock in, but with a little bit of pressure, and you kind of have to have that locking pin lined up just right to get it to lock into place. So that is, one of the things, or a couple of things that I don't like about this tool. But other than that, it pretty much performs as it should. Cuts the pipe without any issues. And definitely would work good in a small or a confined space where you don't have the room to use the larger of the pipe cutters that are out there. So with that being said, that's all I have for this video. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. And as always, in the description, there will be a link to the product page for this tool if you would like to learn some more information about it. And there will also be some links down in the description where you can purchase this pipe cutter if you are looking to add it to your lineup for yourself. But with that being said, thanks for watching.